So I'll show you how to do clock mapping. A lot of people are having trouble with this. So I'm in a very old update of the P166. It's very bare bones. Uh, so if you want to go into triangles, you'll see that I made the gauges. So you model up your gauges, and you have these faces here. So you can see if I do Control and Shift, you can select a group of triangles. The game basically determines whether or not it's in a group kind of thing. So if I shift and control on this gauge face, it'll go until it finds an edge or kind of like an aggressive edge. So it understands that this is all flat together. It kind of groups them, or it'll select a mapping group, basically. So when I select this, you'll see if I scroll down, I already have it set to triangles, revs. So I can do it again just to show you. If I go dupe and say rev, it's unused. Just left click it, assign 20 triangles, these 20 triangles, yes. And now this is in rev, so I can change the color of it. These are all in that triangle group. Make sure when you make a new triangle group that you left click it, make sure that they're set to them. I'll set it back to revs here. You'll say unused when I duplicate it here. If I made a new one, I just said taco, and I was like, hey, we're done. And I go and clear now, and I'm gone. It's still unused. None of these got put into that group. So you want to make sure you always remember, go over here, assign these to that group, and you should be good. So taco. So now you have all these mapped. So map them. This one's speedo, speed. This one should be oil. I got my temp, and I got fuel. And you can see this one is S turbo, because originally I think I got these from the rack. So you can use assets that are already in the game given to you. So these gauges I think are from the rack. Later on I think I changed them, but this was very early on kind of build. So what you can do, we don't need a turbo. I decided not to run a turbo. So you hold control and click, and it will show you these triangles that are mapped to this grouping. So these are in here somewhere. You can't really see them, but it's actually hidden back here as a turbo gauge. So I'll go delete. I don't want any of those. And I'll just say delete that grouping because we don't need that. Clean that up. So that's all we need. So to map these now, to map your gauges, you go to page, and these are all mapped. I changed these all mapped to be tro white. So once we change this tro white, all you gotta do is type in S underscore clock, and now you have your gauges. And these you can't reload. These are a fixed gauge with the S underscore. So you go to cutout, and we go down here, and now we want to find our oil. So we have our oil, our temperature, our fuel. We have a revs, and we have our speedo. So already these were cut out already, but I'll show you how to do that. So you want your speedometer. You see how there's this cutout box? So you can see how that just changed that. So the cutout box is kind of what it sees. So you can see how as I'm changing it, it's showing. So I can make it show my tachometer here, but I want speedometer. So move that over there. Same thing with all these. Fuel, this temp, oil isn't mapped correctly. So oil is looking for this. So if I go over my oil, it's blank. It's just black. It's just showing black. So if I go to here, see it will pop up and everything. On this texture, I actually didn't put a oil. I have oil temperature actually right here. Oh no, sorry, water temperature. No. So yeah, so I don't have anything. I'll just put a clock here. So you can see when I put the square over this, it's already mapped. So it makes a clock. But I'll show you how to do the mappings. So for revs, if I go to map now, you can see that there's all your mappings. So you see that they're over here. So you see the tachometer, speedometer, clock, and water temperature and fuel. So when you press B, and I click these won't be here originally. You'll have to find them. And you basically just do that by scrolling down and finding, let's say, the tachometer. So you just click it, everything else goes away. So there's nothing else around. It only shows this mapping, so you can focus on it. And now I have it really far away. I'll bring it closer so you guys get an idea. This you can drag this orange line. You can't go up and down. It'll go only linearly. I'm gonna turn off main. No, it's not gonna work because my ITVs are not in the way. But you can see when you press B, you'll see a outline. So this just outlines where these triangles are. So all you gotta do then, you're mapping these triangles, you're mapping this texture onto these triangles. So you just move these to be inside of that. So if I only put it half inside of it, you'll see that it only shows half of it. And then also the texture repeats. So it's going to the other side of the texture. It's showing a little bit of the speedometer. So it's not very good. So you wanna move this back over to the center here. And now that's in the center, you can scale it, grab one of the corners, or you can scale it down here. Just moving it, rotating it. So yeah, so you move that like that, and then perfect. And that should work like that. And then these will work in game.